We went through this with a client a couple weeks ago, and she had a massive aha on the call. It happens every single time we do it with a client. It's incredible. Every single time we have people say, it's like, oh my gosh, this is a magic trick. Like, how did you just get everything I've been holding in my head for years into one big, bold idea? Making big shifts in your business boils down to one super simple exercise: taking your own medicine. At least that's what we had to tell ourselves this week. Because, we've just been having a little turmoil, shall we say? Not turmoil. That's a strong word. We've been fighting like the sisters that we are, basically. So, it was one of those things where we were really kind of feeling like something in our business was off. Have you felt that before? Like something just isn't working right and you can't quite put your finger on it. And it's time to step back and take a bigger look at what's happening. So you start getting ideas and they're floating around, but just can't seem to connect the dots.
Yeah, I would say a lot of times with Trina and I, she's the right brain, I'm the left brain. I'm looking at it from this left brain perspective, and I'm like, this is how it is. And I got this idea, and she's over here with this other idea, and she's trying to explain it from the right brain. I'm like, that's not what I'm saying. And she's looking at me going, that's not what I'm saying. And then we sit down and we really talk it out, and it's like, oh, we're saying the same thing. We're just coming at it from different angles, and then once we meet in the middle, there it is.
It's always this exasperated expression of, oh, we're saying the same thing in a different way.
Yep.
So, we've been in business together for over 18 years,
Yep.
and we do what we do best. We help people create unforgettable brands. And it is something that happens seamlessly for us. But like she just said, it's so common for us to have the same idea, but in a different way, which is totally the name of our brand, Left Right Labs. You're coming at it from the left brain or the right brain. So we really had to figure out, how on earth are we going to get things to happen in the middle? Like, how do the meeting of the minds happen? What do we do to solve the frustration that's showing up between us? I might consider arm wrestling. That would be my go-to.
I'm Taekwondo all the way.
Because I could crush you with some arm wrestling. Let's be real.
I could take you out with a couple leg sweeps.
I did. She has done that to me before, actually. It's a little scary. But we realized once we got past our little heated argument, okay, let's step back a little bit. And the only way to solve our disconnect was to take the same dang medicine that we give to our clients, which was to come back and rediscover, what is our brand soul? Like, what do we stand for today, right now, at this exact moment, and really getting clear on that. And so we went back through our own brand soul workshop again.
Yep. We've done it multiple times. Like when we first started doing this exercise and bringing it into our business and doing it with our clients, we did it for ourselves right out of the gate. And got super clarity around who we were and what clients we were serving. And then I think we did it a few years later.
Yeah.
And we were just like, you know what, we should be doing this more often than we are.
And I think it's super common anytime you're facing some kind of a pivot in the business. So yep. I feel like it's something that's really good to do when you're getting ready for a new product launch. It's something that's good to do when you're facing just an internal shift in the company, or maybe a potential shift in your audience. Mm-hmm. So it's one of those things that just kind of gives you like these clear boundaries and guidelines for your brand, so that everything you decide to do can be a clear yes or a clear no, instead of back and forth bickering tennis matches. So we're here to spare you from that today. So when it's time to make an adjustment in your business and to figure out what your pivot is going to be, there's really 6 core things that we help our clients think about in the middle of that to uncover their brand soul, that really becomes that total guidance for their brand personality and how they should march forward. So I'm going to walk you through the 6 different things that we talk through with our clients so that you can start getting some ideas for yourself. So when we think about your company culture, this is something that every brand should be considering. It does not matter if you are a solopreneur. You can be thinking of this through a lens of, what would I do if I had employees, or how I want my community to describe me. If you are a business with multiple people, I want you to think about, when it comes to your company culture and your brand culture, how does your community describe you, and how does your team describe you? This will be an eye-opening experience for some of you. But it's so good to do because we get to go through and think of these things in an aspirational way. So as I walk you through these 6 pieces, when you're trying to decide on that for yourself, it's really supposed to be from a place of where you want to be, not necessarily where you are right now. So I want you to stop and think about what that company culture is. So how your community and your employees would describe your company. Then you're going to think about who are the ideal clients? How do you describe them? Both their fears and what makes them an excellent fit for you. So that's that second piece that you should consider in your brand soul. And then you want to think about, what is my brand voice? How does the brand sound to others? This is whether you're speaking from stage, or it's your blog posts, or it is going to be
how you respond to your customer.
Yes, that's huge. How you respond to your customers, what your programs sound like. So that is the brand voice. That's something to think about. And then also really the feeling. How do you want people to feel when they have interacted with your brand and with your business? And so I want you to think of this more as intangible benefits. You want them to feel excited. You want them to feel encouraged. I mean, it's going to be different for every business, but that's what you're thinking through, is what is the intangible benefits that they feel when they experience your brand. And then on the flip side, I want you to think about the impact. What is that tangible impact that you're going to have on others? So tangible benefits would be things like they're going to have a blueprint. They're going to know what their brand soul is. They're going to have better sleep, or they're going to have better finances, whatever it is for your industry. Really thinking through those tangible benefits. And a little trick that I like to offer for this is, think of this as a landing page. There's usually that section about what people feel and what they get out of moving forward with the product. And then there's that list of, here's the tangible deliverables that you're getting. So that's a way to kind of think about that. And then that 6th piece is going to be the X factor. What makes you stand out? What makes you quirky? What makes you different? Not only from other people in your industry, but also just random things about you. So you guys just found out in this video, if you didn't know it already, that Gretchen does Taekwondo, right? This is something that is interesting and unique to her. I actually beat the quarterback my freshman year of football in an arm wrestling match in science class, and my teacher was the one who suggested we do it. So, you know, these are random things that you like to just toss out there, spark conversation. But when you think of all 6 of these things together, the company culture, the customers, the brand voice, the feelings, the impact, and the X factor, all of these come together to create your brand soul. And what's so amazing about this is there's real tangible impact that you walk away with when you discover what the brand soul is. I mean, do you want to talk a little bit about when we did this for ourselves again this week? For us, it seems to happen every 2 to 3 years. We need to go back through this exercise.
Yeah. So this exercise is a process.
Yeah.
And it's not a sit down and do it in 5-minute process. We literally just took the entire afternoon and we just said, we're putting everything in this business on hold until we do this, because we know what this does for our clients.
Yes.
And we need to do this for ourselves. So we sat down, spent an entire afternoon brain dumping into each of these categories and walking ourselves through. It's a very well thought out process.
Yeah.
And it's not a guessing game. You sit down and you just do it. And when we did that, we really had some key insights from that. And I would say one of the top ones was we still want to serve the same clients. Our client base hasn't changed.
Not at all.
Yeah. I mean, from where we first started, it absolutely has. And it usually does for everyone. But our client base is the same. But how we approach those clients needs to shift just a little bit.
Yeah.
And we saw some interesting, what I like about doing this exercise, not only with our clients, but with us as well, is the patterns start to emerge. You start to see certain words show up over and over again, or variations of those words. And you really start to like pull, that's how we come up with brands, concepts. This is the foundational piece. And doing it for ourselves, even though we know our brand, we know who we are, it really just, it brings a lot of things to light that you just maybe have forgotten about, or you didn't think about, or you just didn't notice before, because you're doing it over again. You're using different words, language has shifted. The world has shifted with all kinds of different stuff. And so you're looking at it through a different lens. And I think that was probably the top key insight. I think the other thing we realized was we have 2 or 3 projects on our plate internally right now that we just Just drop them.
Toodaloo. Bye.
Because they're really not pushing this new direction that we've both been realizing we need to go, and we hadn't had that conversation about it. So yeah, those are my key takeaways.
Yeah, and it really, I feel like it just gives everybody in the company more energy.
Yeah.
Like you immediately go, oh my gosh, it was right in front of our faces, and it helped us to put it into words that we wouldn't normally use, and it helps us to think differently. You know what? We got one of the biggest compliments I think we have ever received in our career recently. We went through this with a client a couple weeks ago, and she had a massive aha on the call. It happens every single time we do it with a client. It's incredible. Every single time we have people say, it's like, oh my gosh, this is a magic trick. Like, how did you just get everything I've been holding in my head for years into one big bold idea? And we did this with the client, and she had that aha on the call, which is such a great experience. And then we followed up with her a few weeks later, and we were talking about something totally different. And she had this offhand comment, and she said, ladies, I just need you to know that exercise didn't only help me pivot my business, like it made me look at myself differently. And that's so huge. It's one of those intangible benefits that you don't realize is going to happen. Like when you do this for yourself, I think I've had some realizations since she mentioned that, like it changes who you see yourself as. So you start to show up differently. You start to really live up to how you want the world to see you. But also it removes so much draining mental energy.
Yeah.
Because you no longer have to think about, oh, am I doing it right in all these different areas? This gives you the clear brand personality that you are going to use across every single channel. And it gives you those guidelines to really stand by. It makes things a clear yes and a clear no. Like it removes all this kind of mental chatter that you normally have to have. We did this with another client who had her business, oh gosh, Deborah Atkinson from Flipping 50. How long has she had her business?
A long time.
A long time. I mean, like 12, 15 years, something like that. So amazing business, beautiful. Like her heart is so beautiful, and the brand that she has built is so comprehensive. But she just was really feeling like, the way people meet me when they find out about me, it's from a speaking event. So I'm speaking on a stage, I'm running an online summit, they're hearing me on podcasts. So they've got to know her and her personality. And if we think about the world right now, that's how so many of us are being introduced to new people, is because they're seeing us through video or through social media. So it's really easy with your brand to keep up with those things because that's what's in front of us all day long. But what was happening, and we've seen this happen for a number of our clients, is the audience gets a sense of you from social media or speaking, etc. But then when they try to go to the website to make the final purchase, to take the next step, something just feels misaligned. Sometimes it's a big glaring difference. I have a story about that for another day. Sometimes it's just like, oh, I wasn't showing up as powerfully on my website as I am in real life. And that's more often than not what it is for clients. So discovering your brand soul not only stops arguments amongst business partners.
I know what she's talking about.
It also really just helps you to kind of step into a new level of who you are. And it relieves this massive amount of stress that you didn't even know you were carrying from being afraid to send people to your own dang website. Like that's wild to me.
Yeah. I have a quick story on that one. So I've been reading a book lately that I really at the beginning of the book, I was excited about this book. I'm like, wow, this is really it's a good business book. And I was about 2/3 of the way into it, and they recommended go to our website and fill out this form and get these quiz results or something like that. I was like, okay, cool. So I got back from my walk and I punched in the website and I filled out the thing, and it loaded. The page loaded a little slow, and I mean, as a web developer, I'm just like,
you're judging. Don't lie.
But I filled out the form and I got to the end of it, and the page was kind of broken. It was just it should have it was supposed to fill in my name and all of this other stuff and be personalized, and it was missing things, and there was a broken image, and I was just like, okay. And then I went to find the email that I was supposed to get with my results. Nothing. I had to go dig through my spam folder. Finally found it in my spam folder. And then when I clicked the link to go see my report, I get another page with some weird broken stuff.
Mhm.
So I'm like, okay, you know what? I always do this when I see stuff like this. I'm like, not to be a jerk, but I'm gonna go and I'm just gonna, hey, heads up, this is broken. You know, we'll fix this for the next person, right? So I usually do that, and I went to their page to do that, and I clicked the contact link 404,
Oh
and I had
gosh.
to dig around until I found the contact link. And I'm like, now, so here's what to my perception of that now. I was all excited about this book. Now I'm going back and I'm listening to the book again on my walk today, and I'm just like,
Oh, you're less
I'm
excited
less
about
excited
it.
about it because I'm
Oh
like,
man.
wow, my whole experience on your website was really souring, and
Well,
I feel like finishing the book. Is this really the knowledgeable person I should be listening to?
yeah, and people forget that your brand is not set it and forget it. Like you don't do it once. You don't and that your brand is so many pieces. It's your website. It's that reputation that you have. It's what you're speaking from stage. So if we're only keeping up with what we're saying
Yep.
from stage and through social media and we're not thinking about the rest of that customer's journey, I hate to say it, but essentially you're not caring enough about your client. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
gonna put that out there because it makes a massive difference. You've heard it here from Gretchen. I've heard that from client experience so many times, or when we're working with a customer and we help them survey their audience, and then they're finding out, oh my gosh, I had no idea that all of these things were distracting people. Something as simple as a broken link or a broken button can then create this distrust. But when you have that all dialed in, when you have that brand soul, when you have that personality that is the same, whether it's on your website, whether it's in your written content, your spoken content, your social media, when that is the same all the way through, let me tell you, it does sales for you
Yep.
before you ever even meet a client.
Mm-hmm.
Like they feel like they know you and it's all cohesive, and so they come back and your brand personality is infused all the way through, and it becomes a game changer for your business because people trust you so much faster because you've really thought through it all being consistent and you know who you are today.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's where we were running into this kind of frustration over the last few weeks is, we're making some product pivots. We have to think a little differently, and we realized, oh gosh, we haven't done this in 2 years. Of
Yeah.
course there's been a change. The world moves too fast, my friends. You have to keep up with it. You really need to be thinking about what your brand soul is today. So if that
Mm-hmm.
speaks to you, if you realize that you are needing to freshen that up or maybe think through it the first time, take a look in the comments. We have more information about your brand soul and how you can build that. And feel free to ask us questions as well. We're always here to support. But anything else from you, Gretchen?
Nope. Put them
Okay.
up.
Keep building your brands and keep impacting the people that you care so much about. Bye-bye.